Hello and welcome back. This week we discussed Jason Takes Manhattan, the count 'em, eighth movie in the storied Friday the 13th franchise. The tale about the boy who drowned as his camp counselors drank, smoked, and had sex, and his mom, and then later him, through movie magic, came back to wreak havoc on anyone who got in his way. And Jason's physical appearance has gone through many transformations. Most notably, the famed hockey mask did not actually appear until the third movie. And if you remember, before that, Jason was covered with like a sack. And in his original appearance, Jason was scripted as being a mentally disabled young boy. And later in the films, he becomes someone who barely talks. One notable exception is, of course, this week's movie, where in flashbacks that Rennie has, she hears Jason yell, "Please, Mommy, don't let them drown," on several occasions, and most notably at the end when he is submerged in toxic waste in the New York City sewer system. Kane Hodder, the man who has famously portrayed Jason, believes there is a limit to this psycho killer's powers and abilities and what he will and won't do. So there is some evidence to suggest that Jason has mental faculties and a, conscience. According to Hodder, Jason might violently murder any person he comes across, but Jason Takes Manhattan called for Kane Hodder to kick a dog, and Kane Hodder, to his credit, refused to do that, believing that Jason would not do that. And throughout the movie, we also see Jason take sympathy on children. And while he is rampaging through the streets, he does not violently attack anyone and everyone who comes across him. Logistically, that would be impossible, but he does have his sights set squarely on the 5 people who survived the boat sinking, notably Rennie and Sean. And in one of its most famous or comical scenes, Jason confronts some street thugs who are blaring some really bad music from a boombox, and just without question kicks the boombox, breaking it, sparing them from listening to that song ever again. The punks confront him with a knife, and it would have been very easy for him to take his machete and slice and dice them, but instead he scares the punks by showing them his face, and they run off. In Jason Takes Manhattan, electricity revives him like he's Frankenstein's monster, and he quickly gets to work at killing any and all of the teenagers who got in his way on the cruise ship, then a few unlucky souls in New York, and 2 deserving street thugs. And in Jason Takes Manhattan, his on-screen kill count is 20, but this does not include the kids who drowned once the boat capsized. And as we have seen throughout the film series, Jason is not easy to survive when he gets his mitts on you. In fact, Jason has the highest kill count of all of the horror slashers to date, and thus he has a lot of experience hacking and slashing. And Jason certainly is a fast-paced killer, and when he's got his sights on you, it is typically a good idea to just keep moving. As much as you might want to hide behind a tree or behind a wall for a quick rest, the best thing you can do is just to keep moving. Don't stop. Jason has had a few survivors, most notably this week's Rennie and Sean, and those who have survived Jason can tell you it can be done. So I'm here to tell you, if you ever run into Jason, here's some things you can do to ensure your survival. First and foremost, remember, Jason never dies the first time. I don't know how many times he has officially died in the series, but even in this week's episode, he gets shocked and electrocuted on the third rail, and that does not kill him. Being stabbed in the eye early on in the movie by Rennie does not kill him. So just remember, if you've killed him once, he will come back, so don't take for granted that he is dead. Don't go swimming. We didn't see much swimming this week. In fact, Rennie had previously encountered Jason on account of her uncle forcing her to go swimming, which led to her, along with Jason, being afraid of drowning. But if you're ever at Crystal Lake, just skip a nice swim. As clean and refreshing as that water looks, don't go swimming. Don't joke around. Jason does not tolerate any type of disrespect. He's not like Freddy, who likes to crack a good one-liner before the kill. Jason is serious. He's homicidal. Don't be a jerk. The jerk character is typically one of the best kills of the movie. This week, Jim was the first kill, and he impersonated Jason. He didn't like that. The other really satisfying kills from this week's episode were the sluzzy, drug-dealing ne'er-do-wells that we saw inject Rennie with probably heroin and were going to do awful things to her before, believe it or not, Jason saved the day and Rennie was able to get away. Not for long, because Jason was hot on her trail. However, don't joke around. Keep your head on, be serious, don't mock Jason. A big one, don't drink or do drugs. Every teenager we saw do hard drugs, drink, be intoxicated, lost their life. And many of them did mock Jason. Some of them thought that the drugs or alcohol they had consumed were made Jason part of their hallucination and played along with it. Didn't work out so well. So if you find yourself being confronted or chased by Jason, make sure to stay off the sauce. And kids, don't do drugs. Splitting up, especially at night. Do not split up. There is safety in numbers. And as we saw when Jason was in the big city, it logistically would have been just impossible for him to kill everyone. He even spared the boombox kids their life. I'm in downtown Houston, so I feel pretty safe about my chances if Jason were here. Remember the buddy system, and of course, never say, "I'll be right back." Never. And I think the best way to survive a Friday the 13th scenario, don't have intercourse. Even if you use a condom, it's just, it spells disaster. Stop what you're doing. Don't be fooling around. Don't be making out. Don't be groping. Don't be doing things that are going to be leading to you having sex, because guess what? Jason doesn't like that. That's one of the reasons he drowned in the first place. Don't have intercourse and you will survive a slasher film. And finally, don't drop the weapon. A lot of people make this mistake. Whatever they think killed Jason the first, third, fifth, or ninth time, inevitably drop the weapon. And guess what? Jason comes back and uses the weapon against them, most likely. And even if your gun no longer has bullets, hold on to it, because going it alone with a bare fist is a lot worse. You at least have a chance with a gun. The lesson here is clear. Stay away from small towns, lakes with horrific backstories, and don't be an obnoxious teenager who drinks, does drugs, or has intercourse with your boyfriend or girlfriend. Follow these tips and you'll more than likely survive the next Jason Voorhees attack. Until then, we will see you next Friday the 13th, but hopefully every Thursday when new episodes of the Real Relationships podcast drop. We are on Apple and Spotify and wherever you get podcasts. Be sure to take a machete to that subscribe button so you never miss anything. And until next time, we'll see you soon. Thanks.